Welcome to Big 12 Now on ESPN Plus. On this Saturday, a terrific matchup. 12th ranked Oklahoma, winners of 6 of their last 7 games. On the road at 14th ranked West Virginia, the Mountaineers have won their last 5 conference games in a row. It is terrific to have you with us on this Saturday. Working remotely, I'm Mark Neely in Missouri. My partner, former Army guard Chris Patola, at home in North Carolina. Chris, the first meeting between these teams on January 2nd, won by OU. In fact, they won both games last year. So they won 3 in a row against West Virginia. And the common thread in those Sooner wins has been how well they have limited the production of one of the best players in the conference, West Virginia's Derek Culver.
Yeah, and they've been really physical with him, really physical with him. It'll be interesting tonight with Oklahoma going small, 4 guards, and then Brady Manek at the 5. That matchup early in this game will be important to watch. Of course, against Texas Tech, West Virginia went right to Derek Culver to start that game. He was outstanding. That matchup big early in this game.
You see those numbers on the left, the 2 games from last year where he had 4 points and 5 points, and this year a season-low 2 points for Derek Culver in that matchup in Norman when he was 1 for 4 from the field, and he had a season-high 7 turnovers as well. And for Lon Kruger's team, again, they come in having won 6 of their last 7 games. Really, you look at this, Chris, with Baylor in another COVID protocol pause, these are the 2 hottest teams in the Big 12 right now.
Yeah, they are, and they both have had to go through reinventions. Both of them playing smaller. You know, again, Oklahoma found something when Brady Manek went out with COVID there for a period. They now have Elijah Harkless in the starting lineup, but of course West Virginia playing smaller without Oscar Tshiebwe and Isaiah Cottrell. So both these teams have had to reinvent during this season, and it's made them better.
You see Sean McNeil, who had a terrific game on Tuesday night in Lubbock against Texas Tech, a career-high 26 points when he hit 5 threes in his 36 minutes of time. So you got the Mountaineers in their home whites, the Sooners in their crimson uniforms. Our officials of Gary Maxwell, Keith Kimball, and Jeb Hartness are ready. Great to have you with us. Should be a terrific game between the Sooners and the Mountaineers. Culver and Manek for the opening tip. And off we go from Morgantown, and it's West Virginia and Deuce McBride that have the first possession of the game. Right away, Manek defending Culver. Leans in and scores, and right away Culver's already equaled his point output in the first matchup with OU. You see the Sooners, Chris mentioned the fact, going a little smaller with Manek in the starting lineup, not Kirk Queth, for that early matchup against Culver. Harmon on the drive. Lost his balance. Here come the Mountaineers. A lob for Matthews, who was able to save it along the baseline for McNeil. No Taz Sherman in the starting lineup for West Virginia. We'll see if he's able to play. He's questionable with a groin injury. Did not play in the game at Tech earlier in the week. And that is an offensive foul, and that charge taken by Deuce.
Mark, where Derek Culver catches it, obviously this is an emphasis early, like it was early in that Texas Tech game for West Virginia. They want to throw it into Derek Culver, but where he catches it is so important. He has become better at facing up and putting it on the floor. It's going to be tough against Brady Manek. Manek's stronger than he looks. He's not tougher than he looks. We know he's tough. And he's got good hands. So if you're Culver, you got to catch it deep.
Culver up high at the free throw line, shoots a 15-footer, and that time well off the left side. So he got a shot in tight the first sequence, and that time he's pushed out to the free throw line and missed badly.
Number 2, Jalen Bridges. That's his first.
Well, for Bob Huggins, 895 career wins. In season 14 in Morgantown, number 39 overall as a head coach.
Tell you, he did an unbelievable job the other night against Texas Tech managing foul trouble. Miles McBride in the first half, and then Culver in the second.
There's a drive, and with the left hand, Elijah Harkless gets the Sooners on the board. Harkless has now started 9 consecutive games for the Sooners, and when he became eligible has been a big spark. And right there's Culver throwing his weight around as he got down low against Manick.
You know, Harkless has been an unbelievable addition. And he's helped them defensively. The thing he's done for them offensively, there's so much space. I mean, just watch the spacing and the driving opportunities that have opened up.
Well, Austin Reed runs right past him and Matthews to lay it in.
That's what they've created with the space. They are driving the ball much better.
Little issue on the sideline for Bridges. He keeps it alive for the Mountaineers. Culver faces up, gets in the lane and scores. And no question here early, Chris, West Virginia making a point of getting the ball in the hands of Derek Culver.
And you can't double him because they're spacing shooters around him. I mean, that's the magic of this West Virginia offense now. 4 shooters around, you can't double him, so he's got a lot of operating room.
So we're just 3 minutes into this game, Chris. We've already seen the adjustment for West Virginia compared to the previous 3 meetings for Culver against the Sooner. There's a wide open 3. It's off the back heel from Davion Harmon. Matthews kisses it in.
They need him. You know, he looks the part. He's got great size, pretty good athlete, and he's got experience. He did not play well the other night against Texas Tech. Only 1 of 6 from the floor. They need Emmett Matthews to play like a veteran.
That shot by Matthews, the first shot taken by somebody other than Culver, and now Bridges getting in on the act and is too long with that shot. Open look. Umoja Gibson absolutely wore out West Virginia in the first meeting. He came off the bench and had a season-high 29 points and drained 8 threes, and he's off to a similar start. Culver gets down low again. That time Manick able to get a little bit of a hand on it, and Culver lost the handle. This time, Reeves passes up a 3. He's not been a great three-point shooter, just 24% this year. We did shoot 45% three-point shooting a few years ago at Wichita State. That's a 2 for Harmon. Matthews a 3. Offensive rebound for McBride. He's going to shoot the mid-range jumper and knock that down. I tell you, Miles McBride. Everybody in the Big 12 knows all about him, and the nation should as well. This is not only one of the best guards in the conference, but one of the best guards in the nation.
He's first team all Big 12, and he's the league's most improved player. And when he's in the mid-range, it's automatic.
Well, Brady Manick with that three-point shot has just tied Tim Heskett for 5th place overall in OU history for made threes. That was his 215th of the Manick career. Culver. He is 4 of 5 from the field with 8 early points.
And that's where he's gotten better, Mark. He can, when he faces up at that foul line, he's much better off the dribble, and he was able to get it back to his left hand to finish.
Harkless from a bad angle able to get another opportunity, and that time too long. In transition, McBride pulls up another mid-range jumper in and out, and it's kicked out of bounds. It'll be OU ball when we come back.
We said it at the top. What is Oklahoma going to do with Derek Culver? Well, they have no answers yet. He's got 8 of West Virginia's 12 points. When he gets it close, he buries you, and it's good night. One of the best big guys in the country.
those numbers on the left for Derek Culver, in the 3 previous meetings, 2 last year and the 1 earlier this season, he had a total of 11 points in 62 minutes of playing time. Chris, he already has 8 points in 6 minutes so far today.
And that's the revolution of this offense. You know, they've scored, West Virginia has scored over 80 points in 4 of their last 5 games. This is the best offensive team Bob Huggins has had since that 2010 team that went to the Final Four. And a big part of his resurgence here, Derek Culver, offensively, again, is the amount of space he has around him. It's hard to double him because they put shooters around him. All those guys are good receivers and can make a perimeter shot. And then in a game like this, look, Brady Manick he's given up size. Only about 6'8". Derek Culver 6'10", 6'11". You're giving up 3 inches. So the deeper he catches it, the harder it is to deal with Derek Culver.
Culver, who was 4 for 9 the other night against Texas Tech, now getting a little breather on the bench. And got Jalen Hill in the game for Oklahoma, who misses his first shot. Gabe Osaboyan in the game. Here's Gabe. Haven't seen a shot attempt yet from McNeil. We've seen several from McBride. He's now 1 of 3 to start the day. Gibson out there with that 3-point shot. He hit one earlier. Matthews, the floater. Bridges had a hand on it, but it apparently went off Reeves and the Sooners last. You know, him and Matthews during the COVID protocol coming back for West Virginia, getting back in things physically. There's trying to bank it in. Both teams have now missed their last 4 shot attempts from the field. You saw Matthews the other night for West Virginia. Did not play well, but he's kind of an X factor for West Virginia, Chris. If they get a number of points from him, they're hard to beat.
They are, and they need it without Taz Sherman. You know, we didn't see him in the Texas Tech game, Sherman. We haven't seen him yet here tonight. Who knows if he's going to play. That's where they need. Sean McNeil came up big the other night. Like, they need people to step into that void because Sherman has been playing so well. And Emmett Matthews, it's time, man. He's a junior. He's got a good skill set. He's physically capable of playing. He's got to be mentally engaged every night out because this team needs him.
Kurt Queth in for OU. Gibson, 3-point shot, rebound Osaboyan. Well, part of the equation for Taz Sherman with the groin injury, the fact that the next 2 games for West Virginia, Monday against Baylor and Thursday against Baylor, are both postponed with COVID protocol for the Bears. So right now, after this game, West Virginia is not scheduled to play till next Saturday at Texas. So if they don't play Sherman today, potentially they get more time to rest him to try to bring him back next weekend. But we'll see how the schedule plays out as Bridges gets his first bucket. Leading in, Reeves. Sooners have gone cold.
And no second shots.
Second bucket for Miles McBride as Mountaineers open up a 6-point lead. Sooners haven't scored the last 3.5 minutes, so they've missed their last 6 shots. Three-point shot, Jalen Hill. Queth, second chance points there for the Sooners.
You know, his minutes in the last 2 games, Queth, have been down, and he's really matchup dependent. I think he's big in a game like this, where it's a good rebounding West Virginia team. They obviously have size with Culver. They're going to need Queth's length at the basket.
Osabuoye doesn't take a lot of shots, but if you leave him open, he shoots the long two. That forgave Osabuoye. The last field goal he had made prior to that was January 23rd at K-State.
Good for him, though, Mark. Like, he's never guarded. Understandably so. I mean, I wouldn't guard him either. But he said, you know what? I'm going to try this thing early and see if I got it going, and he buried it. Like he meant it.
Under 2 minutes to play first half, and the lead is 6 for the Mountaineers.
West Virginia is a place as unique as the beauty in its mountains and the strength of its rivers. The peaks and valleys are what make us Mountaineers. And as West Virginians, we value hard work, teamwork, and trust. Those values are what make United Bank proud to be united with the Mountaineers. Together, we'll climb to new heights. United Bank, West Virginia's bank.
Oklahoma Athletics is proud to announce our Community Cornerstone partnership with Landers Auto Group, OU Health, and Coca-Cola. With their support and partnership, we have been able to increase STEM education opportunities to Oklahoma public schools, donate over 1,500 pounds of school supplies and food to Oklahoma families, and have raised over $50,000 for the OU Children's Hospital. We are thankful for their continued commitment to support Oklahoma communities through this partnership.
Today tastes like staying in, like our go-to place. Tastes like anticipating, and a little bit like waiting. Food's here. Today tastes like a piece of the action, and it never tasted this good.
For you, life seemed to stand still this year, except for the pain in your knee. When you can't do what you love to do, it's time to take care of it. If you've put off the joint replacement you need this year, now is the time. Mercy's experts are ready to safely replace your knee so you can live without pain. Get back to what you love, because life's too short to wait. To learn more, visit mercy.net/OU knee guide.
Well, in Morgantown, this has turned into a men's-women's doubleheader as tonight at 7 Eastern, 6 Central here on Big 12 Now on ESPN+. The OU and number 19 ranked West Virginia women meet on this same floor. OU's Maddie Williams had 45 points in the first meeting 5 weeks ago. Sherry Cole's team remains on the road at TCU this Wednesday. And do not forget the early rounds of the Big 12 Women's Tournament from Kansas City starting March 11th, all also on Big 12 Now on ESPN+.
Was that a 45 I heard you say about Maddie Williams?
Dropped a 45 in a losing effort to West Virginia in the first matchup. Yes. By the way, it's the weather situation in Oklahoma that has dictated moving that game up from tomorrow to today. As Soonerland expecting a lot of winter weather over the next 24, 48 hours. Reeves. Not a lot of second chance opportunities for the Sooners, who now have only hit one of their last 10 shots, and there's a one and done for the Mountaineers. Got a lot of Williams in the game.
Taz Sherman on the floor for West Virginia, Mark.
Yeah, how about that? So Taz is in the game. He brings the ball up for the Mountaineers. Comes in midway through this first half, so that's good news for Mountaineer fans. Sherman facing up on Reeves. McBride, a three. Out of bounds to Oklahoma. Eric Culver also back in the game. He went 4 for 5 before taking a seat He has 8 points, 5 rebounds in his 7 minutes of play. So he has responded after the 3 subpar games in previous years against the Sooners, at least to this point today. And there's a travel committed by Victor Iwuakor.
You know, it's worth mentioning, Mark, everybody wants to talk about Oscar Tshiebwe not being here, which is important. I think, you know, and Bob Huggins has made this point to us, you know, the fact that they don't have Isaiah Cottrell, I mean, that's 2 top 25 big guys that they have not in their lineup anymore. And in the case of Cottrell, who tore his Achilles, so he's out for the year, this is a guy who's really skilled, a guy who would have gotten better as the year goes on. But here's West Virginia battling today for sole second place in the Big 12. They've had to reinvent themselves, and they're doing it without 2 top 25 big guys.
And Cottrell, 6'10", 240-pound freshman. You mentioned the Achilles tear that happened December 29th in the game against Northeastern. Here comes Williams. And a foul. I think they're going to get that on McNeil.
Foul was whistled on Sean McNeil, his first, team's third.
It did go against Sean McNeil, who after that big scoring game, McNeil Tuesday in Lubbock, 26 points. Just 0 for 1 to start today. As Williams at the line in our first free throw of the game. You did not see Williams
Checking back in for Oklahoma,
the other night.
Davion Carmack.
The last game for the Sooners, he last played on January 26th at Texas. So first action in a while for Alondas Williams. He drains the free throws, though, and even though OU, Chris, has only hit 2 of their last 11 from the field, they're only down 2 points here with 8.5 minutes to go.
Well, it's been low possession. You know, both teams being very deliberate in the half court. That last run out by Williams was really one of the first we've seen. McBride had a layup earlier, but not a lot in the open floor.
Well, they were helping Iwuakor defensively with some help defense from Harkless, so they got the foul on Iwuakor after Culver came up with that on the baseline. That is foul number 2, Victor Iwuakor. He's going to come out after just a couple minutes of playing time.
Well, you can help and be more deliberate with your help when Osaboyan is playing with Culver, because he's not an offensive threat. So Bob Huggins, what does he do after that last possession? He takes Osaboyan off the floor. So now again you've got that lineup of shooters and spacers around Culver.
Mountaineers have now missed their last 4 shots. That's a deep 3, short from Brady Manning. And Manick and Culver locked up again. Reposting. Culver. Harmon was able to help a little bit from the backside with a swipe that may have distracted Culver. And there's a shot from Harkless to make this a tie ball game.
Harkless has changed Oklahoma's team. He's had a real knack this year coming up in big spots.
And we come
This
to a
guy, you know, not only has he changed the complexion of their lineup defensively, but he's come up big in some big time spots, man. Hit a big shot in that Alabama game towards the end. He scored 9 of their last 11 against Iowa State. His energy, his effort have been infectious. They're infecting all of Soonerland.
Take a look at what else is going on around the Big 12 today. Got Oklahoma State up 10 in the second half in Stillwater. Texas TCU coming up, and over on ABC at 2 Central, 3 Eastern, Kansas is at Iowa State after those two teams played in Lawrence a couple of nights ago. Here in Morgantown, West Virginia was out to a 6-point lead, their largest, but this 6-0 run for the Sooners has tied the game at 18. Culver, a big start for West Virginia with 8 early points in this game.
You know, Oklahoma, Mark, it's a team that they squeeze you. You know, they don't beat themselves. They don't foul. They don't turn it over. So they're not going to wow you with any individual talent, but collectively, they just squeeze you. And, you know, this game, like any sport, is about increasing your margin for error and decreasing your opponents. And Lon Kruger, over his centuries in the game, has figured out how to do that best. You know, you are what you emphasize, and he emphasizes we're not going to foul. We're going to play solid defense without fouling, which is tough, and we're not going to turn it over.
Hey, you see how little they foul. Fewest amount of fouls in the conference, 8th fewest in the nation. Here's a drive, and nicely put in by Harmon for his first bucket of the game. They have 5 fouls so far in this game, 2 for Williams and 2 for Iwakor, both off the bench. So the only starter with a foul for OU right now is Harkless with 1. Nice pass to Sherman down low, a little high-low from Culver.
And West Virginia will post their guards from time to time, but that was, I think, just an indiscriminate cut there. Unpredictable movement by Sherman to the basket and a really good pass.
And before that last West Virginia bucket, the Sooners had taken the lead for the first time in the game, but that quickly erased, and now Culver trying to add to his total. Does, and he is already in double digits with 10. Now this time Culver gets the steal on the errant pass. Wants to take it to the rim. Does not get it to drop. But a foul against the Sooners.
Here's this pass. Derek Culver to Taz Sherman. And it starts with a set, but Sherman keeps moving. And it ends up in a high-low. Nicely done there, and a really good pass by the big fella. And then once he gets it to this left hand, he's got a really nice touch. You've got to try to stay on that right shoulder to make him come back to the right. A lot easier said than done. And again, Manick giving up about 3 inches. But he is so good when he gets it to that left. And again, Mark, where did he catch it? He caught it deep. He caught it on the block.
It's 1 of 2 free throws. I know every game is important in the conference, Chris, but it seems like Derek Culver's kind of taking this one personally against OU today.
Yeah. Look, he has been beat up, and I'm going to say that. Nobody gets beat up more in the league than Derek Culver. And I got it. You want to be physical. You want to put pressure on officials to make calls. But this is a young man. You go back to the last Oklahoma game, he couldn't even stand up the next day. Bob Huggins telling us he spent 3 days in a training room recovering from that game. And other teams have been physical like that with him. He's battled a shoulder injury all year, a back injury, and he keeps getting up.
Manick thinks about the 3, elects to shoot it, and it goes in and out. Out of dribbling from McCabe. Culver had that high-low pass this time with Bridges, but he couldn't handle it, so it's out for a 3 from McCabe. And a Harkless rebound. Harkless. You got Harmon and Culver. Little tip by Manick will fall.
Well, and a nice job by Harmon driving that matchup. You said it, Mark. I mean, he realized he had Culver on him. He didn't get off a real clean shot, but he saw that Manick, because of the switch, had a mismatch.
Bounce pass from Culver. Bridges out for Sherman's three off the heel. Tip. On the run. Harkless bounce pass. Harmon. Oh, and the block there by Kedrian Johnson. All the way back near midcourt, and a push and a foul against West Virginia.
They call this backflow when you're coming from behind the play defensively. Look at Kedrian Johnson, times it perfectly. And that's why you stay alive in a play, folks. Even if you're behind it in transition, don't start lollygagging. We got a bunch of lollygaggers out here, Mark. No. You stay in a play. You trail the play because you can always make a play. A bunch of lollygagging around here. A bunch of lollygaggers.
I love it. We can add a little baseball. It's getting close to baseball season. Your commentary from Bull Durham. In a crowd, Reeves passes out. They find the open man, Harmon, a three. That's well strong and into the arms of Culver, who's nearing a double-double here in this first half. 11 points, 8 rebounds now. Not there for Bridges. West Virginia is 0 for 7 in three-point shooting. Here's a three that's good from OU's Elijah Harkless. This is the second time the Sooners have led in this game. They're up 1 with under 3.5 to go. Kedrian Johnson. And that three ball is not falling for West Virginia to start this game. Now 0 for 8. Harkless off with that three. Sooners, by the way, 3 of 12 in three-point shooting, so not exactly lighting it up, but have at least hit 3. Nice spin move. Culver sips himself right past Brady Manick. Culver scored the last 5 points for the Mountaineers. He's up to 13.
His footwork has gotten so much better. It really has. So good on his feet.
Reeves with the scoop and score. No question that footwork down low for Culver. He has really developed an NBA low post game, it seems, Chris.
Yeah, he has.
They feed him. Got pushed out a little bit there by Manick and was short with the shot.
But he's going to, for that NBA postgame to become what it needs to be, he's got to get a right hand. Again, another example there, last time down for Culver, where he is doing everything he can to get it back to that left hand, and it hurts his efficiency.
Well, Reeves has scored the last couple of sequences for OU. The Sooners have gone on a 9-2 run, and they have their largest lead of the game of 3. McBride trying to get past Harkless. Manick the help, but the bucket there by Deuce. Still waiting on that under 4-minute timeout. We're less than 90 seconds to go here in the first half. Here's Reeves, and that's an offensive foul on Reeves, and now we do get that timeout with 1:16 to go.
Well, he got called for it there, but you know, the one thing Austin Reeves has done, he said, look, I haven't shot it well. I don't care. Get out of my head. I'm putting this thing down on the floor, putting my head down, and I'm going to finish with a nice little English off the glass.
Well, this is a men's-women's doubleheader now coming up at 7 Eastern tonight. 19th ranked West Virginia and Kaiser Gondrezick looking to extend their winning streak to 12 games, taking on OU. Again, that's 7 Eastern, 6 Central here on ESPN+. And also, they head to Waco on Wednesday, trying to avenge one of their 2 losses on the season, battling Baylor. And then Friday, Noah Adams and West Virginia Wrestling have their final match of the regular season before they head to Tulsa for the Big 12 Championship. All that on Big 12 Now on ESPN+. Well, here on the men's side, tight game. West Virginia at one point led by 6. Sooners have led at one point by 3, and West Virginia down 1 with the ball. A slip under a minute to go. McBride, 15-footer from the left elbow. Offensive rebound. Osaboyan lost it out of bounds, but that, they say, is touched by Davian Harmon last. Coming up at the half, we're going to learn more about Sean McNeil of West Virginia, so stick around for that. Osaboyan has a field goal make on the game. By the way, Austin Reeves picked up his 2nd foul before that last timeout, and there's an emphatic dump from Jalen Hill. And timeout West Virginia, the use it or lose it timeout for Bob Huggins with 25 seconds to go, and now Oklahoma back up by 3.
Well, they have 10 fast break points, Mark. I mean, this is where in a game that's been played largely in the half court, Oklahoma's ability in this first half, particularly the latter half of this first half, they've gotten some runouts, and it's given them some easy opportunities so they don't have to play against that West Virginia half-court defense.
The Sooners led by Harkless is 7 points. Reeves was 6, but he has 2 fouls. And the Sooners come into this game having won 6 of their last 7. Remember, they beat 3 top 10 teams in a row. Number 9 Kansas, number 5 Texas, and then number 9 Alabama, all at the end of January, before falling to 13th ranked Texas Tech on February 1st. So that's been the only loss, that loss in Lubbock in their last 7 games for Lon Kruger's club. They have been hot. West Virginia can hold it for the final shot. Matthews called for an offensive foul on a little push on Hill.
It's tough. They had it set up. It was a diversion where Matthews was going baseline to his left hand, and Sean McNeil was coming around. Watch Sean McNeil here. He may go out of your screen for a little bit, but this is where the pass was intended, and he ends up banking this one in on just a little cheapie there for Emmett Matthews, and that ends up being his 2nd.
Yeah, he's the first Mountaineer to 2 fouls. So now the Sooners have a chance for the final shot of the half, trying to add to the 3-point lead, and instead Harmon has it knocked away, and that would count. Oh! And it goes for McBride, and we're tied. First 3 of the game for the Mountaineers. They had missed their first 8, but get the turnover with just a couple of seconds left.
Sometimes when you're not golfing well, you got to get a chip in to get things going. This is the chip in, but it's from half court. Nicely done by Miles McBride. You knew a turnover like that, you just had a sense if he gets a look, and that dead-on shot, Mark, you got the opportunity where the glass is in play. What a game, what a first half.
Great look from our crew. Definitely got it off in time. And 12th ranked OU and 14th ranked West Virginia tied at 31 here at the break. When we come back, we'll learn more about the Mountaineers' Sean McNeil. Well, the three-point shot at the buzzer from just inside midcourt for West Virginia's Deuce McBride means we are tied at 31 at the intermission in Morgantown. Right now, let's get to know more about West Virginia junior Sean McNeil.
When I was really young, I was thicker, I was chubby. The only thing I really could do was shoot. So I mean, my dad was a high school coach, so I was always in there watching their practice, shooting, getting shots up on the sideline, stuff like that. I think it was my freshman or sophomore year of high school is when I hit a growth spurt when I grew, but I still could shoot. I started to handle it a little bit better. Out of high school, I had 2 Division II scholarships. I had heard from some Division I schools, but never really pulled the trigger or offered me a scholarship or anything. I chose Bellarmine, then I went to class. Orientation week, went to class Thursday and won on Friday. Packed my whole dorm room up on Friday. Told my mom and dad I was out. So after that, I went home, went to a community college back in my hometown. Just took classes. Luckily, got in there to stay on track to graduate in 4 years, this and that. But just worked out. Didn't play organized basketball for a whole year, pretty much. I got in contact with some people to go up to Sinclair in Dayton. I went up and played open gym once or twice with them, and coach said he liked what he saw and took a chance on a kid that hadn't played organized basketball in a year and a half, maybe. I can't describe that JUCO year. Arguably some of the best, that's probably the best I've shot it. I wouldn't say that's the best I've played, coming in and scoring 35 points like that and then coming here and scoring 5. I'm just like, dang, that's not what I'm used to. But it was just getting set, it was getting comfortable, it was learning how to play in the system and when to shoot, when to score, when to look to do certain things like this and that. But this year I think I've got a little bit more confidence, obviously some games and things under my belt, so it's coming a little bit more natural, I guess, this year.
NBA +3, up and he banked it in from 3. He banked it in as the shot clock expired.
This offseason was arguably some of the best basketball I've ever played. It was just confident. I mean, playing open gyms and skill work and stuff like that, I wasn't thinking as much as I was last year. Open gyms and stuff like that we were doing, guys were looking for me to get me shots and get me the ball to score and do things like that. So I think I kind of proved myself to not only myself coming off the year I had last year, but to my teammates as well. There's going to be games, there's going to be days where you don't shoot well, or there's going to be times where you miss 2 in a row, but that third one, next shot, next play, next shot, you got to play present.
Sean gonna let a long jumper go, and he hit it from way out front for 3.
Guys look to find me the ball because I'm supposed to make shots. That's what I do. I've proved that I can. So every time I get the ball, they get mad at me when I don't shoot or might look to shoot or whatever. It's nice for me knowing that they have that trust in me, and in the same way for Deuce and Taz and Emmett and George. I mean, the list goes on and on. It's a mutual. I mean, trust goes both ways. Everybody says it all the time for a list of different things, but I mean, they trust me to make shots, and I trust them when I get them the ball to create or make shots to do the same thing.
Sean McNeil coming off a career-high 26 points in West Virginia's win on Tuesday in Lubbock that only had 1 shot attempt in the first half here, a miss. But we are tied at 31, 12th-ranked Oklahoma and 14th-ranked West Virginia. We'll take a break, come back with more here on Big 12 Now on ESPN+.
We conquer mountains, but that's not why they call us Mountaineers. It's because we don't let anything stand in our way. We build what's never been built, seek cures for the incurable, and go first into undiscovered frontiers. We are Mountaineers, and impossible is just another mountain to climb.
In the Washington, D.C. area. These men help break barriers to a better future for all Americans.
Fires it downfield, and intercepted by West Virginia.
Great matchup on this Saturday on Big 12 Now on ESPN+. 12th ranked Oklahoma, 14th ranked West Virginia tied at the break in Morgantown. Back remotely, Mark Neely in Missouri, my partner Chris Patola at home in North Carolina. Let's take a look at the rest of what's going on around the Big 12. Last handful of seconds in Stillwater. Right now, Oklahoma State has a 7-point lead on K-State. That has now actually just gone final. Oklahoma State wins that one by 7. TCU and Texas coming up shortly, as is Kansas and Iowa State. We welcome you in, Mark and Chris. The first half, quite frankly, because both teams played pretty clean. There wasn't a lot of fouling, a lot of free throws. 6-point lead at one point for West Virginia and 3 for the Sooners. Really not much else to say in that first half. Pretty clean.
It was, yeah. Derek Culver got off to a quick start, slowed down a little bit end of the half, but it's a defensive struggle. It's a Saturday afternoon, 1 o'clock Big 12 battle, a defensive struggle. It's pretty clean, like you said, Mark. 9 turnovers combined between the two teams, only 6 free throws taken between the two teams. So pretty clean overall. Will be interesting to see who can pop the cork, and more so with West Virginia, can they make some threes? A team that has shot it so well, they did not shoot it well in that first half. What pops the cork in this game offensively will be interesting to watch in the second half.
And the winner of this game has a pretty good shot. They take over second place by themselves. Of course, Baylor, the top team in the conference, hasn't played in a while, won't play this week either due to the COVID protocol. But Lenardi's busy this time of year. Baylor, even though they haven't played in a while, they're undefeated. They're still the 1 seed. You got West Virginia at a 3, OU at a 5. Even Oklahoma State, a team that, barring the appeal being heard by the NCAA, are going to get a chance to play in the NCAA tournament with Cade Cunningham.
Well, it's interesting. They put out their top 16, the tournament committee did earlier today, and a team that's not up there right now is Texas Tech. Big 12, 5 teams in the top 16 in the bracket that was released a little bit a while ago. I mean, that's impressive. You know, the league is playing, and I don't think we saw the league playing as strongly as it has late in this season. But certainly as competitive as we've come accustomed to this league being.
Well, it was a great start for West Virginia's Derek Culver. Just 1 rebound of the first half, shy of his 10th double-double of the season. He got out of the gate quickly, Chris.
He did. They went low. They went big. See what he could do here in the second half.
I didn't think I had anything to say. I didn't think I'd fit in 1,400 miles from home. I didn't think I'd get to cover 2 Heisman Trophy winners. I didn't think I'd be viewed by thousands of households. I didn't think I'd find my own voice. Until I did. What will you do?
7 different guys have scored for Oklahoma in the first half. Elijah Harkless, 7 points, leads all Oklahoma scorers. A guy who continues his ascension and getting much better on the offensive end. And then it was really this guy, Miles McBride got going there towards the end of the half, but it was a steady diet of Derek Culver down on that block. And of course, this play to end the half, the turnover leading to 3 for Miles McBride, tied up this game at the half. A low possession affair, a defensive battle. Bodes well for a good second half, Mark Neely.
Interesting in that last handful of games, West Virginia's been averaging about 8 made threes per game. They came into this tied with Baylor as the best three-point shooting percentage in the conference. They had missed their first 8, and that 3 from midcourt by McBride, they're only made 3 of the half. McNeil, you mentioned when late in the first half they were trying to set up a play to get McNeil a 3-point look right near the end of the half. Didn't happen because of the offensive foul that was called against him at Matthews. Only 1 shot attempt for McNeil in that first half. It was a 3, a miss in his 16 minutes. Maybe we'll see more of McNeil in that long-range shooting in the second half.
Well, as you would imagine, after the game he had against Texas Tech, they're blanketing him. No looks. You want him to put it on the floor before he catches with space for a 3. The other thing, too, Mark, this is a West Virginia team that shoots 22 free throws a game, 3rd in the Big 12. Only 4 free throws in that first half. So, that's another area where they supplement their offense that, true to form, Oklahoma's done a nice job keeping them off the foul line.
Yeah, you had Culver go to the line. He split a pair of free throws. Taz Sherman did the same, and those were the 4 free throws in the first half for West Virginia. So it's the Sooners that have the ball to begin half number 2. Great to have you with us for this outstanding matchup. Number 12 Oklahoma, number 14 West Virginia from Morgantown. Harkless. McBride finished with 9 points in the first half after that 3 at the buzzer. Go along with a couple of assists. Culver and Manick. That's the way the game began, but this time Manick was able to push him out just a little further off that left block. Harmon. I think Culver kind of looked at Bridges. They looked at each other, and Harmon split the pair and laid that in.
It's not how you draw up transition defense right there.
Culver shoots over Manick. It is short with the left hand. So Culver's missed his first 2 shots of the second half. 3, Harkless. Right back to Culver. Get him in a little closer this time, and that rolls in.
It's tough. Playing in the post is about where you catch it in the angle you have. It starts with where you catch it, and he's got to bury himself. The first 2 shots, they're a little bit out of his range for that jump hook. The deeper he gets it, and it's easier to do that in transition, the better.
Gibson missed the floater, but there was Harkless lingering around to get the rebound, and it gives a 3 opportunity to Gibson, who's not really made a mark in this game. He does have 5 points and 1 made 3, but he had 29 points in the first meeting against West Virginia.
Size becomes a non-factor the further you are away from the basket. And the best time to post is early because the defense isn't set. So here, he just lays his body right into him, and then that's where that 6'10" frame then becomes a factor.
Catch and shoot 3. That is short from Gibson. So Gibson now 1 for 3 from beyond the arc so far today. There's a 3. Good for McNeil, his first points of the game. Finally got an open look.
By far the cleanest look he's had.
A 5-0 run by West Virginia. They're back up. Reeves trying to answer, and he does so. And we're tied up.
And he was caught in a matchup with Culver. Typical Lon Kruger. You get the matchup you want, put him on an island, and then take advantage of it. And there's Culver doing work on the other end, catching it early, deep.
In an and-one situation for Culver, who's now up to 17 points with 9 rebounds.
Derek Culver at the line, one shot.
This isn't about running a set or a play. Just get position early, and really nice job. We've talked about him being so left-hand dominant. Nice job there with the right hand.
It looked like a lot of contact from Manek on that replay, but he does pick up his first foul, and Culver now 1 of 3 from the line today after that miss. Reeves gets the contact from McNeil, and now Austin Reeves with an opportunity for a three-point play.
Again, a guy who has not shot it well. Came with the reputation from Wichita State as a shooter. Hasn't shot it well for 2 straight years. But what he's starting to figure out is I'm a pretty good basketball player. I'm strong, I'm 6'5", and if I can get it to that point, put it down, I'm either going to score or get to the foul line. He takes him 60 throws a game. And so this is a guy who's figured out he's a pretty good player, even if he's not making perimeter shots.
Well, Reeves has scored the last 6 now for the Sooners, and they're up 1. Reeves did lead the American Conference, shooting 45% from beyond the arc as a sophomore while at Wichita State a few years back, but has not been that prolific of a three-point shooter with the Sooners. McBride misses the long 2. Of course, Chris, this is the first season for him as a Sooner, Reeves, that he's really been playing as the point guard, moving Harmon off the ball, and it's worked out pretty well this season for OU.
Well, he's got a tremendous IQ, Mark. He does everything. I mean, he leads them in points, assists, rebound, free throws made, minutes. Like any statistical category that means something, Austin Reeves leads Oklahoma in it.
In a number of those categories you just mentioned, he leads the conference in free throw shooting, number 2 in assist, and number 5 in assist to turnover ratio in the Big 12 for Reeves. There's a scoop and score, and right now Austin Reeves taking over offensively for the Sooners.
They're getting the matchup. You know, Derek Culver keeps switching on to him, and he is attacking it. This is Lon Kruger. You ask any coach in the Big 12, this is what he does best offensively. He identifies the mismatch. They go to that. You get that guy on an island and make him pay. And here's Culver. He's just not going to be able to guard this. Now, it's a nice little play there at the end to throw the scoop, so Culver's shot blocking ability becomes a non-factor, but that's what Oklahoma does. They get the matchup they want, and they exploit it.
Reeves has scored the last 8 points for the Sooners. And now West Virginia's not having a good day at the line after that miss there by McBride. They're now 2 of 6 from the line. Sooners have only attempted 3 free throws and hit all 3. Deflected out of bounds by Sherman. Just over 4 minutes into the second half in a 2-point game.
What is tradition? A set of ideas? Rituals passed down through generations? Or is it the people who take up the banners as they make their mark on the world? How will you make yours? Degrees online, on campus, on your schedule. Become the tradition with OU Extended Campus.
West Virginia is a special place, but it's the people that make it special.
Honestly, it is the crowd, it's the people.
This is one of the great environments. There are no pro teams in the state of West Virginia. They love West Virginia sports right here.
This is the most underrated fan base in the country.
Greatest resource, state of West Virginia is not coal. The greatest resource is its people.
At OU Health, we believe in giving second chances, spending time with family and friends, crying happy tears, and celebrating.
You have. Oh, Jordan.
Like you, we also cherish milestones. We're healing more people, educating Oklahoma's doctors, discovering new treatments, treating the everyday, and solving the complex. OU Health. The future of health is here.
We're doing exciting things at the W Heart and Vascular Institute in advanced heart failure, in valvular heart disease, in atrial fibrillation, and even heart transplantation. We know that if patients can achieve advanced care in their home community, they do better. We provide the entire spectrum of care, and our outcomes are amongst the best in the nation.
Visit mywvuheart.com.
Well, coming up next week on Big 12 Now on ESPN+, 3 key matchups, beginning with Cade Cunningham and 23rd ranked Oklahoma State. They host the Cyclones. That game on Tuesday was originally 8 Eastern, and in the last 24 hours, it's been moved up to 4 Eastern time on Tuesday due to winter weather in that area. The 295th edition of the Sunflower Showdown between KU and K-State, that was pushed back a day. It's now on Wednesday in Manhattan. And number 13, Texas heads to Ames to take on Iowa State on Thursday, all on Big 12 Now on ESPN+. Austin Reeves, 3 of 3 from the field to start this second half. The rest of his teammates, a combined 1 for 6 from the field in the half. A little heat check there, and his 3 well short. And here comes McBride. Sherman lost the ball, able to deflect it. It's rolling loose, and Reeves able to run to it. They have numbers here. Reeves wanting to take it to the rim, comes crashing into the defender and commits the offensive foul.
Offensive foul whistled on Austin.
Well, a charge there, and he probably, that was a nice take by McBride. Reeves probably should have backed that out, but what a start to the second half for him. That shot there against Derek Culver. He's found him in a matchup. He can exploit this one. Defending the ball, not what Sean McNeil does, and then again against Culver. And this is a nice little scoop shot here. Very crafty, very clever. Good start to the half for Austin Reeves.
That offensive foul on Reeves, he's now at 3 fouls. He's the first Sooner to 3, so that comes fairly early here in the second half. Put on the floor by Sherman, tried to kiss it high off the glass. Out with it comes Harkless, long pass, and out there goes Gibson to lay it in all alone.
You know, West Virginia, as we know, loves to offensive rebound. One of the ways you make a team pay for crashing the offensive glass is by running out, by scoring in transition. They're nobody back for West Virginia.
Culver will go to the line to shoot 2.
West Virginia leaning into the offensive glass. And look at Derek Culver. Instead of, he doesn't even go to the offensive glass, but he's slow to get back, and the defensive balance not good. And that's been one of the areas in this game where Oklahoma has exploited. They've done a nice job in the open floor.
West Virginia now 3 of 8 from the line. This 4-point lead for Lon Kruger's team is their largest of the game. Culver splits the pair. 3-point game, and Culver will come out. Has picked up that 10th rebound, so he has 18 points, 10 boards, which is his Big 12 leading 10th double-double of the season and 26th of his career. Three, Gibson got it. That's his second 3 of the game. Gibson's got the last 5 now for the Sooners, Chris.
Yeah, he's been shooting really well. We know he had a big game in the first matchup between these two teams, but he's 10 of 19 from 3 in his last 3, shooting it really well.
Tough 2 there for McNeil. Ends a drought as West Virginia had gone right about 3 minutes between their last field goal before he knocked that down. Gibson in a crowd. Reeves, quick ball movement. Harkless ran right past McNeil. And then a travel is committed by Harmon. It's been a tough day for Davion Harmon. Just 4 points on 2 of 8 shooting. 7 turnovers now for the Sooners. 5 turnovers for West Virginia. So both teams have done a pretty good job of protecting the basketball so far today. Three Sherman off the front rim. Rebound Manick, and it bounces to Reeves. Against playing with 3 personals. Manick, 3. Got it. His second of the game, and with that 3, that's his 216th of his career. That moves him past Tim Heskett and all alone in 5th place for made threes in Sooner history.
He looks like he's shooting it with a lot less pressure on himself. I think the increased balance of this Oklahoma team has really helped him.
McNeil is not afraid to shoot that from 5 or 6 feet beyond the arc. And indeed, McNeil is starting to see some more open looks here in the second half after only 1 shot attempt in the first half. Harkless trying to fend off Bridges, and with that hook with the arm gets called for an offensive foul.
Here's that Manick 3. And a nice job in transition, dragging the defense. So Austin Reeves off of this screen. He takes Osaboyan with him. And there's that pop 3 at the top of the key by Manick, a spot that he's starting to really love. And you know, look, again, there's not pressure on him, Mark. I mean, he's finally come into himself. There's not pressure to go out and get 20 every night. You know, rebounds, a defensive presence, pick your spots offensively. That's where Brady Manick, I think, is starting to find himself after coming back from COVID, and it's the place where he needs to be.
Sherman with the driving bucket. Well, Manick, who earned his business degree back in December, is now working on an MBA. And I know this is way too early to start talking about next year, Chris. I would love to see Brady Manick come back for another year next year for the Sooners.
Yeah. I think you're right on. He absolutely should.
Tough shot for Davion Harmon, who's had a frustrating day, but made something out of nothing there. Bridges, 3 at the other end. And underneath, foul on West Virginia. OU ball when we come back with 11:43 to play in Morgantown.
Foul is whistled on Gabo Savoyan. His first team foul, number 3. There's a timeout on the court.
It's now time for this Building Mountaineer basketball moment, presented by Dan Ryan Buildings. In February of 2009, Friday the 13th was a special night at the WVU Coliseum and a nightmare for the 13th ranked Villanova Wildcats. West Virginia's Deshaun Butler could not be stopped and put on a scoring display for the whole country to see. Butler scoring 43 points on 12 of 23 shooting, including 6 3-pointers on the way to West Virginia's 93-72 victory. Butler's 43 points were the 3rd most in Coliseum history. The Newark, New Jersey native finished his career leading WVU to the Final Four a year later and scoring over 2,000 career points.
Fans, while at today's game, don't forget to keep your mask on at all times and stay socially distant to help protect you and those around you. All Mountaineers are encouraged to remember the 3 W's. Wash your hands, wear a mask, and watch your distance. We want all Mountaineer fans to stay safe and to remember it's a great day to wear a mask wherever you may be. Turn your attention to the video board for a live look-in from around the country, presented by Kegler's. Stop by Kegler's Bar and Grill before and after every Mountaineer home game this season. The home of the most live TVs in the area.
Well, released just a short time ago, we get our first look at the preliminary rankings for the top 16, and obviously the 2 unbeaten teams up top. You got 3 Big Ten teams in the top 5, but Big 12 well represented in the top 16 with 5 teams led by Baylor.
You know, you wonder how Baylor comes back after another COVID pause. You feel better because it's there's the Big 12, more of the Big 12 represented. You know, you feel better, Mark, about Baylor because it's an experienced group, laser focused on the ultimate goal. But a pause this time of season, you wonder how they look when they get back.
Yeah, West Virginia was scheduled to play Baylor on Monday as well as this coming Thursday, but both those games wiped out. So for now, Bob Huggins' team's next game on the schedule is not till next Saturday at Texas. And it doesn't really look like they've already completed their allotment of non-conference games for this COVID-era season. And there really is not a Big 12 team that can slot in to play a game this week. So it looks like it's going to be a week before they play again. And away from the ball, an OU foul on the moving screen by Alondis Williams. That's his 3rd.
You know, that's a good call, Mark. That play happens a lot, where, you know, a lot of teams run these dribble handoffs now, and as a defender, that happens all the time, where you get run into by the guy who's handing that off, and I think it should be called more.
OU's turned it over 3 times now in their last 5 possessions. McBride ran into Manick, and what you were just talking about there's Brady Manick. Gets called for the foul 30 feet from the basket, and that's quickly his 3rd. So Reeves, Williams, and Manick, as well as Harkless, all have 3 fouls for OU, and all 3 for Manick have come here in this second half. And the front end hit by McBride after the 7th team foul on OU. McBride, who is 4th in the conference in free throw shooting, 84%, just 1 of 2, and it's not been a great day for West Virginia from the line, 5 of 11. Open look, 3, drained. And Emoji,
he is automatic.
He is.
He is automatic, man. If his feet are set and he has any daylight, he is cash. And what a great skip pass that was to find him.
Now West Virginia looking for an answer. A 3 from McBride is good, and they do indeed answer with McBride's 2nd 3 of the day. And just like that, a 6-point Sooner lead is cut in half. Reeves gets in the lane, and it won't fall, but he generates some contact and will go to the line for 2.
Here's this Gibson 3. He hunts the line, and he's shooting it really well. That's a great skip pass. I mean, the defense is going to suck in there. Sean McNeil sucks in from the backside because that's the rotation of the defense on a drive there. A great skip over the top. And Emoji Gibson, again, 10 of 19 from 3 in his last 3 games. With his feet set, he is the best 3-point shooter in this conference.
Well, the numbers backing that up now. He's up the shooting percentage from beyond the arc on the year, up around 45% now with his 3 for 5 effort so far today. Again, he had his season high 29 points, hitting 8 threes in the first meeting with West Virginia back on January 2nd. That game much different than the one we're playing today. If I'm sure the fans from both teams will recall, is West Virginia got down 18 points at the half in the first meeting. They were down 38-20, came back, tied the game at 60. OU never gave up the lead. And OU won that first matchup by 4 in Norman, 75-71. And Culver missed the bunny, and he's frustrated after that miss.
He's got to go to dunk that.
Look to trap Reeves. He finds Queth. Harkless fadeaway off the back heel. Bridges taking it to the rim, and in transition, there goes West Virginia. Harkless picked up the dribble, finds Queth. He's going to shoot a 16-footer. Rattles around to Sherman. Open look, McBride. That was for the tie, but Queth comes down with the rebound. Reeves puts the head down, drives to the bucket, tipped, second chance opportunity there, and OU up 5.
He's tough. His penetration is killing West Virginia right now.
Culver over Queth this time, and that's 20 points for Derek Culver. It's a 20-10 game right now for Culver. 20 points, 10 rebounds in 22 minutes. And an open drive to the rim, laid in with the left hand by Harkless. Eight minutes to go. Play kind of stopped for a fraction of a second. Sherman missed the shot, but Culver second chance points, and he now has 22.
What a game he's had. He had to be big today because that was the matchup that West Virginia needed to exploit, and he has not disappointed.
His career high is 28, which came against Florida in the SEC Big 12 showdown. Reeves almost got that to fall.
Got fouled.
Just flinging it up there. The foul wasn't called there, but it is foul against West Virginia. And Reeves has taken over for OU in this half, Chris.
Yeah, Mark, it's his penetration. He's getting himself to the basket and finishing there. What a tough player he is. A terrific second half. We got a 3-point game.
February is Black History Month, and ESPN and the Undefeated partnering on the initiative Black History Always. How about one of the great two-sport athletes of all time? Baseball and basketball, Dave Winfield. Grew up in St. Paul while he was a student at Minnesota in 1977. He formed the David M. Winfield Foundation for Underprivileged Youth. He was the first active athlete to form a foundation. For more Black History Always storytelling, visit theundefeated.com. Terrific game going on between the 12th ranked Sooners, 14th ranked Mountaineers from Morgantown. The winner takes sole control of second place behind Baylor in the conference. Here's Reeves launching a three, and he's short with that. And with just under 7.5 minutes to go, the baseline official Gary Maxwell saying that was touched by West Virginia.
Every time I shot an air ball, the first thing I did was try to get the official to know that it was deflected. There's no way. No way I shot an air ball. It had to have been deflected.
Well, tough since we're remote to know if it actually got touched, but perhaps Reeves did sell it, and it keeps a possession for OU, an important one in a one-possession game. Manick, and how big is that? With the shot clock winding down, they get another crack, and Manick hits his third three.
And Derek Culver was ball watching. That's why he was late to the closeout on Manick.
This equals OU's largest lead again of 6 points. Culver has made 10 field goals today. That ties a career high for him in a single game. And a one and done after the McNeil miss. Quick ball movement, Gibson feet set, and he is red hot with his 4-3 of the game. A 10-4 run for the Sooners. It's given them their largest lead of 9, and a miss by Bridges. It's out to the Sooners.
Here's that Brady Manick three in the corner, and you see there Derek Culver was ball watching Austin Reeves. As Reeves was dribbling, Culver was on that block, and so he's late to that closeout on Manick.
McBride trying to kick up the pressure. The ball handler Reeves. Now Culver helping out. They try to trap, and a pass finds its way to Jalen Hill. Now West Virginia with under 6 minutes to go. They need a bucket, and McNeil fouled on the jumper.
You know, that Manick shot, Mark, that's the counter to Culver being in the game. I mean, closing out is not what Culver does, right? I mean, help side defense, closing out on a shooter is not what he does. And so that's where Reeves' penetration, you've got to, obviously you want to protect the paint, but if another team has a shooting 5 that you can match up against Culver, that's the difficulty. And that's why this lineup for Oklahoma has been so effective, both defensively and offensively, because the space created from it is big.
McNeil coming off a career-high 26 against Texas Tech. He has 10 points today, all of them here in the second half. 15-footer, Reeves good. What a half he's having. He is up to 20.
And another basket he gets on Derek Culver.
Of the 20 for Reeves, 14 here in the second half. Possession's going to stay with West Virginia, but it's a big game for the Big 12. You got a West Virginia team that's won their last 5 conference games in a row, while OU's won 6 of their last 7. A 7-3 West Virginia team in conference, OU 7-4. Open look, McNeil. West Virginia needed that badly.
And that's the play they ran in the first half, towards the end of the half, where Emmett Matthews got the offensive foul. McNeil banked it in, but it didn't count. Same exact play.
13 second half points for McNeil. Nice feed. Manick down low. Hill trying to get it over also Boyan. Harkless lines up a 3. West Virginia able to keep it a 6-point game as we come up on the 4.5-minute mark. Shot clock slips down to 5. McNeil on Reeves. He's going to put up the 3. Tough shot. Got it! McNeil has scored the last 8 points for the Mountaineers. They pull within 3. Gibson. Gibson had hit 4 threes. That one was a good 3 strides behind the arc, that attempt. And it was kind of quick. Timeout, Bob Huggins.
If you have a hot shooter, what do? Well, you run a play for him. It's not Bob Huggins' first rodeo. Here's his first 3 for Sean McNeil. It's a misdirection. Here comes his screen. Watch. You get McBride going baseline, throw back to McNeil, and then McNeil hit one of these shots against Texas Tech the other night. A flyer from the wing. He throws another one up there, and it is wet.
Here we go. Count it. Oh, man. Here we go. Count it. Oh, man.
Champ Week right around the corner, and speaking of right around the corner, we're just over 4 hours away from the women's side of what is a men's-women's doubleheader between OU and West Virginia. You got 19th ranked West Virginia women and the Sooners at 7 Eastern, 6 Central, right here on Big 12 Now on ESPN+. West Virginia and Oklahoma has TCU on Wednesday. Don't forget, early rounds of the Big 12 Women's Tournament starting March 11th, also on Big 12 Now on ESPN+. All right, Chris Patola, 3:41 to go. McNeil has been hot. He's 5 of 6 in the second half for West Virginia. The rest of his teammates have combined 7 for 17 in the half. And out of the Bob Huggins West Virginia timeout, they'll have the ball down 3.
The three-point shot has really changed this game offensively. Neither team could make a 3 in the first half, and it's really come on both teams of late here from the perimeter in the second half. You know, you imagine that he's drawn up a play for Sean McNeil out of that timeout. No Derek Culver on the floor.
West Virginia was 1 for 9 in three-point shooting in the first half. The only make was the shot at the buzzer by McBride. They are 5 for 9 in three-point shooting in the second half. And that one off the line. Osabuoyen for McNeil. And we're tied.
Well, they did draw up a play for him out of the timeout. Oklahoma did a nice job eliminating it. But what an opportunity there. Offensive rebound by Osaboyan. And McNeil stays hot. What a great heads-up pass. Good play by Osaboyan. And Sean McNeil stays hot.
Stand the test of time. United Bank, West Virginia's bank, proud to be united with the Mountaineers.
Are you the ultimate Mountaineer family? Tell us your crew story and enter for a chance to win $3,000 of WVU swag and 4 WVU football season tickets. Visit go.wvu.edu/UMF2021. Mark your calendar for West Virginia's next home matchup against Kansas State, Saturday, February 27th. The tip is at 4 p.m.
The officials over at the scores table taking a look. The issue appears to be the shot clock. The shot by McBride, did it hit the rim is the question. So the shot clock did not reset. And from this angle, I mean, hard to tell if it hit the rim. And was there enough time on the shot clock for West Virginia before McNeil shot and made the three-point shot to potentially tie the game here? So this is big. It's Gary Maxwell on the left, Keith Kimball on the right. They have been looking at this for several minutes now.
Well, there's two things. I don't think it hit the rim on that first shot. And then, like you said, right, Mark, the second question is, did McNeil get the shot off in time?
Well, it looks like it's going to stand, and Gary Maxwell going down to talk to, that's Mike Shepard and then Lon Kruger, about what they determined by looking at the video.
By Sean McNeil is good.
Well, maybe we'll get a chance to look at the play all the way through. If the shot didn't hit the rim, then the individual running the shot clock was right not to reset it. And did he get the three-point shot off in time? So let's assume it doesn't hit rim. That shot clock is already down to 2, but then he reset it. Okay, yeah. That's the other part of the equation. He reset it to 20 very, very late. So that, now that we get another look at that all the way through, that's the issue. The shot clock did reset unnecessarily right before McNeil shot the 3. So I'm assuming, Chris, that Gary Maxwell and his crew either used a stopwatch or something on the video to time out to see if that 3 from McNeil was off in time had the shot clock not reset to 20. And they say that the shot was off in time. So here we go, tied at 68 with just over 3 minutes to go. Reeves. What a half for Austin Reeves. 22 points.
His penetration, he's getting the matchup against West Virginia's big, be it Culver or Osaboyan, and he's just driving it. And he's so shifty and crafty in there off that one leg.
And there's a 2 from McNeil, so we go shot for shot here down the stretch, and McNeil has scored the last 13 points for the Mountaineers. Reeves, by the way, 22 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, off with the long 3, but he's in the neighborhood of a triple-double here with 2.5 minutes left. McNeil. McBride trying to go up for a slam. Collides with Manick. And an OU foul on Brady Manick. Looks like it'll be his 4th.
Well, McNeil's threat to shoot it got them off balance. And then Emoja Gibson, you've got to cut that angle off. He does not switch that well. You have to cut the angle off. And once McBride got the step, he's downhill, and we know what a terrific athlete he is.
We had a great view on that last replay. Manick picked up defending McBride while he was in the restricted arc. So he looked like he did go straight up, but he made contact while in the arc. So that was the call, and the free throws give West Virginia a 2-point lead. First lead for West Virginia since they were up 38-36 early in this second half. And the Sooners are going to use a timeout with 2:02 to go.
And it's a good timeout. That last shot by Austin Reeves was not a good shot. I thought it was a tired shot. You know, he's done a lot of work off the dribble, which it takes effort, it takes stamina. I thought the last shot from Austin Reeves was a fatigue shot. I'm just going to pull it. I've been hot. I'm going to throw one away here. 2 minutes left. The game was tied at that point. Not a good shot. West Virginia executed down the other end, and that's why they're up 2 at this point. So a good timeout from Lon Kruger, a chance to draw up a play, give his team a breather, get organized, and prepare for these last couple minutes here. This is an important possession, Mark.
Reeves has 16 points in the second half. 16 of his 22. That's been the story for OU really offensively. And McNeil, all 21 of his points have come here in the second half. Huge game in the Big 12 between number 12 Oklahoma and number 14 West Virginia. Sooner ball down 2. Mountaineers on a 13-2 run to take this lead. Four to shoot. Gibson, tough shot, just a hair long. And it's scooped off the floor by Bridges.
A hair long. I mean, that thing was right there.
So a minute and a half to go. West Virginia trying to add to a 2-point lead.
McBride's got to drive this thing.
Harkless facing up. McNeil gets a little bit of space as the shot clock was expiring, and Osaboyan with an offensive rebound with Culver on the bench gets another big possession for the Mountaineers. A minute to go.
1 minute. 1 minute to play.
McBride almost lost the handle. McNeil. Osaboyan nearly had another offensive rebound. It does again with some help from Bridges. And an OU foul stops it with 46 seconds left.
Osaboyan is incredible. I mean, this is a guy who, coming into this game, had only made 1 field goal in Big 12 play. He is a major offensive liability, but this is why he plays. He never stops working. He is the best help defender in the Big 12. And you see the offense there, Mark. I mean, do you know how good you have to be at the intangibles to offset being an offensive liability? I mean, you've only made 1 field goal in 10 Big Big 12 games, and he plays almost half the game. He leads him in charges, he leads him in deflections, and he makes big-time offensive rebound plays like he's done here in the last 2 minutes.
And he's at the line where he's only a 44% foul shooter. He's missed the first. I really enjoyed, or at least was intrigued to see that exchange between Manek and Reeves just a few moments ago, with them both coming off the floor towards the huddle, where Reeves seemed to be encouraging Manek. You know, Manek, who's not far off coming back from COVID protocol, trying to gut things out physically. But what a second half we've got. McNeil quiet in the first half. He's been the story for West Virginia, and Reeves, same story for OU.
Yeah, both those guys have found some breathing room. You know, McNeil coming off the Texas Tech game where he was great. Obviously, Oklahoma locked in early. They've lost him here a little bit in the second half, and then once you start feeling it as a shooter, you can obviously shoot it with a hand in your face. And then Reeves, most of his damage has been done off the dribble. He's gotten a good matchup on some switches here in the second half. He's driven that matchup. But look at the stat sheet for Reeves. It's not just the points. 8 rebounds, 7 assists. What a game.
Here's the other part of that stat sheet I failed to mention. That last foul was on Reeves. So Reeves has 4 fouls. Manek has 4 fouls as well for Oklahoma. So a game that potentially could drift into overtime. You have 4 fouls on 2 key players for the Sooners. Second free throw here for Osaboyan. Missed both. Loose ball. Osaboyan saved it again. Gary Maxwell is saying that the Sooners touched the ball, Harmon, while he was out of bounds. So it's West Virginia ball again.
And they can go review this. It's under 2 minutes. And I'm glad I went on that 3-minute rant about Osaboyan. He really paid that off, Mark Neely.
He did.
I mean, yeah, he's on the line there.
So did the bounce prior to that from Harmon hit that inside line, which would put it out of bounds? Osaboyan definitely had a foot on the line, and reaching out of bounds touched it while it was out. But did Harmon touch it first while out of bounds? So that's what the officials are looking at. As Chris mentioned, inside 2 minutes, they can look at this. So as Harmon turns, does he touch it right there? Well, it didn't. I don't think it hit the line after Harmon touched it. So
that's going to be Oklahoma ball.
This should be OU ball, yes.
Yeah, that's Oklahoma ball.
But you can certainly see, I mean, the ball was just a matter of an inch or 2 from hitting that. It's the inside line. It's that straight line coming down. It's not the solid block after that. Out of bounds is there. And when Harmon touched that, it bounced just within an inch or 2 of touching that line. Great job by our crew to get that look from the sideline to see that Harmon did not hit it and it go out of bounds. It was touched out of bounds by Osaboyan. I think they should definitely give this to the Sooners. Now the call was West Virginia ball, but Chris, I think there's certainly enough to overturn this call. Do you agree?
Absolutely. Unless they're, you know, Seinfeld when he put on the extra thick glasses in that one episode. I mean, there's no question this is Oklahoma's ball.
And that's the indication there from Gary Maxwell. So it is OU ball. They're down 2, 43 seconds left. But Osaboyan almost made a third tremendous rebounding play after his own missed free throw to keep things alive for West Virginia. That was quite a sequence for Gabe Osaboyan.
Well, this is where you imagine, Mark, they're going to open the floor. They're going to try to work their weave stuff and ultimately get the ball into Austin Reeves' hands, if they can, and allow him to drive and create. McBride is on him now. Can they shake McBride?
Crucial possession for the Sooners. Down 30 seconds to go. 15 to shoot. Gibson. Got it. We're tied.
And it looked like he was falling down as he shot it.
So West Virginia has 2 timeouts. they can hold it for the final shot here. No timeout for West Virginia, it appears.
Don't go too soon.
McBride short, gets his own miss, puts it up again. Manick has it, 1 second, and we're going to overtime.
I'll tell you what, you're lucky if you're West Virginia that McBride corralled that offensive rebound, because a long shot like that, if that thing squirts past McBride, he took it with 10 seconds left on the clock, which is too early. You want to shoot it with about 4 to at least give yourselves an offensive rebounding chance. But at the very least, you have to come away with overtime, which they did. But they're lucky McBride followed his shot and got a second attempt at it.
Well, a frantic end to regulation, but how about the end to the first half, Chris? Without this, West Virginia would be in serious trouble. This is a turnover by Harmon, and this is right as the half is ending from midcourt. McBride banks it in for a 3 that tied the game at the intermission at 31.
The line between winning and losing is very thin. And a lot of times, Mark, you know, we overanalyze the ends of games. Plays like that, I mean, it's a great pull by the truck there and by you, my friend. I mean, those are the types of plays when you go back and you're watching tape and you're like, man, you'd love to have that turnover if you're Oklahoma back. And if you're West Virginia, you're saying, man, what an opportunity to throw in a shot from half court.
Well, a 13-4 run at the end of the half to send it to overtime for West Virginia. 72 all. I think we knew when the day began what type of game we were going to get here in Morgantown, Chris, and it's lived up to that billing between these two highly ranked teams.
It sure has, and it's really been a tale of two halves, Mark. Really a defensive rock fight in the first half, and the offense on the backs of Austin Reeves and Sean McNeil has come alive here in the second half.
Keep in mind for the Sooners, as I alluded to earlier, as we enter overtime, 4 fouls on Reeves and Manick for Oklahoma. Matthews has 3 fouls for West Virginia. I only mention that because he's the only player for West Virginia at 3 fouls. So OU is the team with 2 primary players with foul issues as we go to overtime. So put up 5 minutes and off to overtime in Morgantown between 12th ranked Oklahoma and 14th ranked West Virginia. McBride, that ball was tipped. You saw the leg did go into the backcourt, but it's not an over and back due to the deflection. McBride in the lane, a grab and a foul on Harkless. That's going to put him at 4 fouls. So Harkless joins Reeves and Manick, all with 4 fouls for the Sooners. And it puts one of the top free throw shooters in the conference at the line. Bill McBride now with that 5 of 7 from the stripe today.
This is where McBride is at his best. He's been one of the best closers in college basketball this year. And a miss there, a rare miss.
So 1 of 2. It's a 73-72 West Virginia lead. First possession of this overtime for the Sooners. Reeves. Second possession of the overtime for West Virginia. Again, Mountaineers up 73-72. Drive, McNeil can't finish with the left hand. Harmon shoots over McBride and scores.
Basket by Harmon.
Harmon got the angle, went to his strong left hand, got the angle off the dribble handoff, and there's nobody, because Culver is, or Osaboyan rather, lifted, so nobody in the paint.
Open three, miss by McNeil. 1 point lead for the Sooners. We've had 9 lead changes in this game, 11 ties. West Virginia led by as many as 6. Sooners led by as many as 9 in the second half. And you look at Osaboyan on that push.
You know, Austin Reeves, when Miles McBride is on him, has had a much tougher time getting to his spot, going by, getting to his spot, and finishing in the paint. But when he gets the matchup against Osaboyan or Culver, he's gone right after it, and that's where he's done his damage offensively.
And it puts the leading free throw shooter in the Big 12 at the line, Reeves, who sinks the first and is a perfect 4 of 4 from the line today. So Culver checks back in after Osaboyan commits his 3rd foul. And we might see Bob Huggins, who has 3 timeouts. Obviously, Chris, he wants Osaboyan on the defensive end, Culver on the offensive end, so we may see that switch a number of times here in the OT.
He went to that at the end of the Texas Tech game. Offense, defense.
Culver trying to back down. Manick holds his ground, leaning in. Tip at the rim. Good for Emmett Matthews. Midway through the overtime, Sooners up 1, trying to add to it. Manick just a bit long with that 3. And West Virginia is going to use one of those timeouts. They will have 2 remaining. Don't go anywhere. 1 point game in OT in Morgantown, West Virginia.
This was how things ended at the end of regulation. Miles McBride, as Bob Huggins does, putting the ball in his hands. End of game. I thought he shot that a little bit quick, about 10 seconds on the clock, but he corralled the offensive rebound. Had another look at it. Both of them hit the front rim. McBride, he's been good. He's got 17, only 5 of 17 from the floor, but that's what he's done at the end of games. He has been their closer all year long, Mark.
Well, Chris, West Virginia is trying to beat a ranked team 3 consecutive games for the first time since 1957, when they beat Richmond, Kentucky, and North Carolina in December of '57, thanks to their win over Kansas and Texas Tech in their last 2 games. But right now it's OU with the 1 point lead in OT with 2:16 to go. By the way, this is the first overtime game for both of these schools, and it's an outcome that will give the winners sole possession of second place behind Baylor in the Big 12.
I mean, this is how we want it. You know, if you're going to take second place in the league this year, you're going to have to earn that thing, Mark Neely. And this game has been about earning sole second place in the Big 12.
Again for OU, Reeves, Harkless, Manick, all with 4 fouls. Foul issues not really a big concern for West Virginia, just Matthews and Osaboyan with 3. Culver's been relatively quiet here late in the game, though he does have 22 points, 11 rebounds. Open 3, Matthews. Manick able to deflect it. That ball to Matthews, who winds up getting the 2 points after a miss from the right corner initially.
3 guys to the offensive glass and a great job. You said it, Mark. Not sulking over a missed shot. Matthews stays into play and ends up with the ball.
Harkless all alone. He hesitates, throws it out. 3, Harmon. Good. Well, I'm sitting there thinking, Elijah, put it up. Go up, lay that in. He waited so long, but find the open man, Harmon, for a 3. Harmon has hit a couple of big shots here late. He has 11 points. Culver. Who'd that go off of? It went off the Sooners, and that's a big call. Now they're going to go to the monitor for that. I thought in real time, as we take a look here, watch Matthews after the miss.
That's why you follow your shot. Look at him. He stays into play, and just a loose ball that he ends up with. You know, one of those 50-50 balls, and then how about the response by Harmon on the other end for a 3? Like you said, he's got a layup, but a nice conversion there by Emmett Matthews, which leaves Harmon wide open for 3. Hasn't been Harmon's best game, but I'll tell you what, he's such a big shots late.
Yeah, they're at the monitor again, Chris. I thought in real time that this ball was off Matthews of West Virginia. No, now that I look at that, I think that was off Harkless. And it is going to be West Virginia ball. So for the second time, the officials have been able to go to the monitor here in a crucial time of the game. They overturned one earlier in regulation late. This one, they stay with the call, West Virginia ball. Each team with 2 timeouts. The possession arrow belongs to OU. McNeil. Batted around. Harmon runs it down for the Sooners. So with a minute to go in overtime, OU with the ball up 2. Reeves trying to shake McBride. Picked up his dribble and then traveled.
Lon Kruger, he has 2 timeouts, decided not to use it there. He's got a pretty veteran team that lets them play through that, and really just well defended. West Virginia very disruptive there on that possession.
None of that from McBride, and now Bob Huggins is going to use one of his 2 remaining timeouts for this crucial possession for the Mountaineers. Down 2 with 37.5 seconds to go in OT. What a game we have had in Morgantown, tied at 31 at the half. Now in OT between the number 12 and number 14 ranked teams in the nation. Well, if you're enjoying this game on Big 12 Now on ESPN Plus, check out the women's side of this doubleheader at 7 Eastern tonight between the Sooners and 19th ranked West Virginia. Mountaineers ladies play at Baylor on Wednesday, and then you'll find Noah Adams and West Virginia wrestling with their final match of the regular season on Friday. All on Big 12 Now on ESPN Plus. What do you think Bob Huggins has cooked up here, Chris?
I think he's going to his guy, McBride, Mark. You know, they love to run a clear out to the right side to allow McBride to go to that right hand. I wouldn't set a ball screen for him unless you're trying to lift Culver.
McNeil, deep three. That was for the lead. Tip, though, the tie, Bridges.
Be interesting to see if Lon Kruger calls a timeout here. Last shot, you want to take the shot with about 4 or 5 seconds left on the clock.
Looks like the Sooners are going to play it out. Reeves, three on the way. No. And we are headed to a second overtime in Morgantown.
West Virginia 79.
Would you have it any other way?
Two of the heavyweights in the conference going back and forth. And it will take at least another 5 minutes. I got to be honest, Chris. I don't mind when a coach doesn't, even though they have the timeouts in their pocket, if they feel like it. I got a veteran team like Lon does, play it out.
I'm with you. You know, the only reason I would question that is the possession before he didn't call timeout and it was very chaotic. So that's the only, but I'm with you. You know, in most cases, especially if it's tied, don't allow the other team to organize itself. If I've got a veteran group, particularly with a veteran like Austin Reeves on the ball, I'm okay playing that out. And at the very least, you're going to double overtime here, and let's play another 5 minutes.
Well, for West Virginia, it was second chance points in that overtime. They had 3 buckets that were all on second chance points in that first overtime. Again, the winner of this game in sole possession of second place in the Big 12. Manick and Reeves, they played that entire first overtime with 4 fouls. Harkless picked up his 4th foul in the first overtime. So 3 of the Sooner starters in deep foul trouble. No such problem on the other side right now for the Mountaineers, though. Culver's got 22, McNeil 21, so a couple of 20-point scores for the Mountaineers. Reeves leading all scorers with 24. Nice tap. Harkless able to take it and score, and is fouled. And credit Umoja Gibson for keeping that ball and just deflecting it towards Harkless, and they get quick points after the start of the second OT.
I mean, this is perfect. And like you said, you hit it right on the head. I mean, what a great heads-up play by Gibson to just kind of get his hand in there to punch it ahead to Harkless.
First trip to the line today for Elijah Harkless, and he completes the 3-point play. So a quick 3 points in the second overtime for the Sooners. Matthews going to go right at Reeves, playing with 4 fouls. Can't hit the driving layup. Bridges banged into Culver and Manick, and Bridges able to finish, and he has 8 points.
You mentioned the offensive rebounding ended that first overtime. Jalen Bridges has been a monster. He's been involved in every one of those offensive rebound plays, and there he is again.
9 rebounds for Bridges today, and as you mentioned, most of those have come here late. Gibson! His 5th 3 of the game.
He is ice cold.
Gibson, who had 8 threes against West Virginia in the earlier meeting this year and had 29 points. He's at 21 points today. Culver got that one to roll in. That's a big shot for the Mountaineers.
It's a big shot and a tough shot.
Culver has 24. Again, his career high 28 came against Florida a couple weekends ago. Harmon an open 3. And a Bridges rebound. Double-digit rebounding for Jalen Bridges. Culver. Manick playing with 4 fouls, and Culver just zips right past him to lay it in.
And he's posting early. You know, you put Brady Manick in the blender early in the possession.
Harmon by Culver. Gibson's wide open. And West Virginia's fortunate.
Get Culver another touch here.
McBride, the drive. Looked like Culver was grabbed going up for that rebound, and I think that was Harkless. And it is, who just fouled out of the game. Second time this year that Harkless has fouled out of a game. The other one was the Kansas contest.
McBride off that ball screen, gets himself downhill. And there's Culver, arm being held by Harkless. Again, an early set mark. They're hitting Oklahoma early in these possessions. You get a drag screen there by Culver. He rolls hard, so he's there for offensive rebounding.
You know, I look at that replay, though, Chris, and yeah, the arm of Culver was unintentionally held down. It was a foul, but I think Harkless just kind of brought his arm down, and it brought Culver's down as well, but it did restrict Culver, and I see why the foul was called. Well, he's had issues at the foul line. Just over 60% on the season. And today, just a combined 2 for 7.
And it's weird. He's been shooting it well. 77% in their last 4 games from the foul line. Reverting today.
Said 2 for 7. He's actually now 3 for 7 with that make. And he's going to come out. They'll bring in the defensive Osaboyan. With 2:50 to go in the second overtime. West Virginia has the 1-point lead. Reeves has Osaboyan on him, leans in, tough shot, tip. Reeves, and McBride did not touch that while out of bounds. It's West Virginia ball.
When they bring Osaboyan in for Culver, they switch 1 through 5. They switch everything. Austin Reeves, when he's gotten Osaboyan on him tonight, has had that matchup, but nicely done there by Osaboyan. Kept him in front and forced a tough shot.
Manick playing with 4 fouls. Culver,
big time.
Very tough shot with that left hook from about 13 feet out. And the Mountaineers with a Seminole run are up 3 with 2 minutes to go. .29 for Culver. That's now a new career high for him. Sooners shot clock at 4. Harmon trying to create the drive and the bucket, and that ended well for the Sooners, Chris, but it wasn't going well prior to that lane opening up there for Harmon.
Well, no one's in there because everybody for Oklahoma was beyond the 3-point line. The seas parted, and Harmon finally said, let me just take this to the rack.
And a huge bucket for the Sooners to pull them within 1. McBride feeds Culver. From the free throw line, it's off the front rim from Bridges. Well, that's the first empty possession for the Mountaineers here in this second overtime. Reeves is fouled by Culver. It's just the first foul on Culver today.
His first team foul, number 8.
You know, once again, Austin Reeves getting the matchup he wants. He's got Derek Culver on him, and anytime this has happened tonight, they've just gone in isolation. You got the big fella on an island, try to drive him, and it's too much for Culver.
And Reeves hits the first free throw. Normally, Chris, I think, let me just foul the guy and put him on the line. But when it's the guy who leads the conference in free throw shooting, that's a double-edged sword. And Reeves calmly knocks down both and puts Oklahoma back up by 1. .26 for Reeves to go along with 9 rebounds, 7 assists. Clock starts as McBride picks it up and gets a timeout. I think West Virginia, they're trying to time it out here, Chris, where they want to get the ball twice.
Yep.
With 51 seconds left. That's why McBride didn't want to touch that ball until he absolutely had to. Well, how did we get to this point? Well, this is the end of regulation. A couple of chances here for West Virginia and McBride.
He had 2, followed his shot there. Came up short on both of them. And then here in overtime, that was not a good look, I thought, from Austin Reeves there. But again, Lon Kruger deciding not to call a timeout, which is fine. Decided to go with a flyer 3 from Reeves, and here we are. What a game. I mean, it was a defensive battle in the first half. Offense started to get rolling into that second half, and then, again, both teams have settled in, particularly in this second overtime mark, back into that defensive front.
Take a deep breath. We got a ways to go. We're in double overtime. 51 seconds to go. West Virginia ball. They use this timeout. Look at the numbers for them. We mentioned Culver with a career high 29. McNeil 21, all in the second half. McBride, it's going to sound strange. I'm going to say a quiet 17 for McBride today with 7 rebounds, 8 assists. So he's not far off a triple-double.
No, it's amazing. Sean McNeil, really three-point shooting too in that second half. McNeil and Reeves had their moment, but Sean McNeil terrific in this second half. That's where the offense started to get going for West Virginia. But down the stretch, as it's been all year long for both these teams, Reeves, his usage in this game, particularly down the stretch of games, is so high. And then it's been a steady diet of Derek Culver definitely in this second overtime.
Back to the point I was bringing up a moment ago, Chris, in watching McBride not want to touch the ball until he was forced to. So there's almost 51 and a half seconds left. Really almost an NBA. Hug's trying to go for a 2-for-1 right here.
Yeah, you want to get it up by about 40 seconds to have a reasonable second shot at it. You don't want to go 2-for-1 at the expense of the second shot, particularly in a tie game or one possession game. So that's why you let it roll to give yourself, a good 10 seconds here to run a play so that you have a reasonable shot after Oklahoma has their possession. But if you're Oklahoma, Mark, in the timeout, if you're Lon Kruger, you have got to defensive rebound. The thing that's killed Oklahoma in these overtimes has been second, third shots from West Virginia.
Yeah, no question. Bridges, the beneficiary of several of those in the overtime periods. So we reset it. Possession arrow favors West Virginia now. Got McCabe in the game. McBride leads in and scores, and they executed just about perfectly there, Chris, scoring with 40 and a half seconds left. And now Bob Huggins is going to use his final timeouts with his team up 1.
This dude has been one of the best closers in college basketball. He's been the best closer in the Big 12. Look at this show he's putting on. I mean, that's just, I'm better than you. And this thing is going down. He's the competitive spirit for this team. He's their heart and soul. He's first team all Big 12. Miles McBride comes up big again. What a tough finish.
Yeah, and that's a textbook clear out there, Chris. All the other jerseys were on the other side of the floor, opened it up for McBride. to dribble in and score. And I think West Virginia just executed what Huggins wanted perfectly in that sequence right there.
He did. And look, he's got a great player in McBride, and you allow him to go to work, and it's one of those, my guy's better than you. Now, they just called, as you said, Mark, West Virginia just called its last timeout. They're going to conceivably get another possession here. So if you're Hugs, we got to play good defense. You know they're going to try to, get that high screen, and Austin Reeves is going to try to get to the basket. We've got to, on a make, we've got to get the ball out quick and push. And if they miss, they're going to foul.
Well, let's see what Lon Kruger dials up now. Down 1 here in overtime number 2 in Morgantown. McBride now at 19 points after that last bucket. Here we go. Reeves and McBride. 30 seconds to go in the second OT. Reeves from 14. Wow.
Oh, what a battle.
Well, now Oklahoma's going to use a timeout. So West Virginia, as you mentioned, didn't have one. So they get the benefit of huddling up here. But now they can hold it. This could be like the previous closure of the regulation period. But what a play by Reeves here, Chris.
Well, it's a false ball screen. You're trying to get West Virginia to react. Miles McBride stays locked in on Reeves, and that's just two terrific players going tit for tat here on the last 2 possessions. McBride on one end with a bucket, and Reeves answers.
So to end regulation, West Virginia had 2 shots from McBride to try to win the game. Here they can hold it for the final shot, but they are down 1.
Right. So you're going to go, you're going to run whatever play Coach Huggins comes up with, and this is going to have Miles McBride's name all over it. I would assume going to his right hand. But you want to get this thing up there with enough time to absolutely leave offensive rebounding, or if we don't corral the offensive board, we got to be able to have enough time to foul.
Which was where I was going to lead you to. At what point, what are you at, 10, 12 seconds? Where do they need to get a shot up here?
Yeah, about 10, 11 seconds. You want to get a shot up here.
Underneath Culver, McNeil almost looked like he got stuck in the air and just flipped it under the basket and was happy that Culver was in the right place. But now just 11 seconds left. Culver blocked by Queth, and that touched Culver while out of bounds. OU ball with 7 seconds left.
Really nice job not allowing anything easy on the under out of bounds. You get Culver there, and if you're Oklahoma, you can't draw that up any better. You get him going to his right hand, and what a job by Queth. Staying big, walling up without fouling. That's a great defensive play.
Well, OU with the ball up 1, 7 seconds left. Sooners are going to call timeout. Obviously, you'd like to get the ball in the hands of Reeves, the top free throw shooter in the conference. Obviously, West Virginia would like to get a quick steal here, Chris, but if they can't, are going to have to foul.
That's where the most important player on the floor in these moments is always the inbounds passer. So we'll see who Lon Kruger has inbound the basketball. He had Jalen Hill doing it before he called timeout. And then, like you said, whatever you can draw up to make sure that Austin Reeves catches the ball is what you have to do.
Oklahoma trying to beat West Virginia for a 4th straight time. They swept the season series last year. They're trying to sweep the season series here. Moja Gibson has been spectacular, 5 of 10 in 3-point shooting, 21 points. Hill's going to inbounds. West Virginia will not guard the inbounds pass. Get it into Harmon. Tried to tie it. It's going to be a tie-up, and the possession arrow belongs to West Virginia.
Wow.
What a turn of events there.
You know, when you're in a position to have to foul, Mark, what you tell your team is go for the ball. Just go for the ball. If they call a foul, we got to foul anyway. But try to tie them up. And that's exactly what Osaboyan does. Once again, Osaboyan makes an intangible play. Can't draw it up any better.
Well, it comes down to this. West Virginia down 1, under 5 seconds to go on second OT. And it's loose. Out of bounds. Off OU with 3 seconds left. And West Virginia fortunate they didn't lose possession right there.
And Huggs has no timeouts. Remember, he called his last timeout a few possessions ago.
Sherman checks in for the Mountaineers.
Sherman checks in for the Mountaineers. And Oklahoma is going to use their final timeout.
I don't know about this.
Which gives West Virginia obviously an opportunity to dial something up here.
Well, and they just had, there was confusion on the under out of bounds. And now you're allowing them to take time to draw it up. I mean, obviously we see what they were trying to do. They were trying to hit Culver there coming down the lane. Just a bad pass. And
McBride touched it there, but then Harmon, Gibson apparently touched it last. Keith Kimball was right there to make the call, and they obviously can review that as well if they so choose, but looks like it definitely is West Virginia ball with 3.1 seconds to go in the second overtime. Keith Kimball went to the scorer's table. So they stop things to review that last play, and they add a little bit of time to the clock.
Yeah, that's a lot of time. I mean, you have plenty of time to catch, put it on the floor a couple times. You get somebody going to the basket.
This time McBride triggers it. Over the top for Culver. Block. Hill. Second chance. No! And Oklahoma hangs on and wins it in Morgantown 91-90.
What a game.
It's several opportunities there, Chris, at the end.
Mark, I love the design. I mean, this is what you want. Culver's been a beast. He's been a beast all night long. He was a beast in this second overtime. The design is there. You just got to go and finish. He's got to come down with this, gather yourself. He may not have known how much time was left, but a great defensive stand by Oklahoma, and what a win on the road.
To your
Sole
point,
position of second. What a play.
I think Culver had a little, he kind of just flipped that last shot up, but obviously he knew there wasn't much time. He maybe had that extra fraction of a second, Chris, to get a little bit more under control to go up with that, but you certainly can't blame the guy for just trying to fire it up off the backboard and try to win the game. Wow, what a game. Head coach Lon Kruger with us. Coach, I don't know where to start right now. I'm still trying to gather all this. Just kind of take me through the overtime, the two overtimes, what you guys were thinking.
Yeah, we were trying to get a rebound. You know, we had a little trouble getting the rebound. They're big, they're strong. Culver is unbelievable. They got a lot of good players. We got a lot of good players. It was a good time battle. You know, it wasn't much margin throughout the ball game. Overtimes went back and forth. Really proud of our guys. They hung in there. West Virginia kids fought like crazy. Big time game.
Coach Austin Reeves, particularly in the second half, really planted his flag. What'd you make of your point guard's performance?
Yeah, he was unbelievably good. You know, he's just such a good competitor. You know, he's attacking all the time. You know, a lot of confidence. Guys have a lot of confidence in him. Made good plays for other guys as well. So, yeah, it's a big-time battle for Austin.
Lon, your team, though, was the team that was really having to deal with the foul issues late in the game into overtime with Reeves, Manick, and Harkless with 4. Elijah eventually did foul out. But incredible for Austin and Brady to stay in the game and be in there when the game was on the line.
Yeah, it really was. Given such a physical ball game, I thought Brady did an unbelievable job of battling Culver. I mean, obviously Culver is big time and strong and all that, but he did it without fouling, without picking up his 5th. Thought Kerr came in and made some nice plays there late. But yeah, Austin playing with 4 fouls was critical too.
Coach, you take sole possession of second place in the Big 12 with the win here today. What does that mean for this team moving forward?
Well, we've got Texas coming in on Tuesday, I guess. You know, we don't get to celebrate very long. Texas is unbelievable, but that's the nature of Big 12 play. But really proud for our guys. They've battled, they've gotten better, and they work at it in practice every day, so they'll keep getting better. So happy for them.
An incredible game. Appreciate the time. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
Head coach Lon Kruger's team's now won 7 of their last 8 games. They've won the last 4 head-to-head meetings now with West Virginia the last 2 years. So you mentioned it, Chris. Now you got OU by, in essence, a half game ahead of West Virginia, 8-4 and 7-4. And we don't know when Baylor's going to play again right now. So this was a huge game as far as positioning and standings in this conference.
It was a massive, massive game. You said it. I mean, they complete the sweep of West Virginia. There's no rest for the weary. As he said, they got to go play Texas on Tuesday. But it's an Oklahoma team with a lot of toughness. A lot of toughness.
Wow, what a game. Enjoyed it, partner. That was something else.
It was. I'm exhausted, Mark. I'm not made for 2 OTs.
A 2 overtime game in Morgantown, and Oklahoma wins it 91-90 with 28 from Austin Reeves and some big shots at the end of the game. Keep in mind that all games airing on Big 12 Now on ESPN Plus stream live and are also archived on Big 12 Now on ESPN Plus. That's going to take care of things. What a game for Chris Spatola and our outstanding crew. I'm Mark Neely. Thanks so much for sharing this one with us. Again, Oklahoma over West Virginia, 91-90 in 2 overtimes.